today I'm going to speak about a very interesting topic. So I went to Westwood yesterday and I had, kind of an interesting day. Let's just say the topic I'm going to discuss today is gatekeeping. I know I've spoken about this before. I'm going to go into detail. So I went with my missus and we bumped into this guy, yeah, and I can tell he was into fragrances because he really was magnetized towards the Altair. And I stopped him. This is what I said to him. I was like, "You had liquid brune?" He said, "What? What's liquid brune?" He said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "It's a dupe." He's like, "What, dupe of what?" I said, "Dupe of Altair. What are you trying to smell?" And he said, "I've never heard about it." See, this is the thing, so it's the point I want to make. Firstly, let me get the backstory first. So he had very good taste. He knew his shit. Impeccable, very taste, which is he's got that maturity, but also knows what he's looking for in a fragrance. And he had some bangers, recommendations. What I noticed was, as I was speaking to him, right, was not keen on gatekeeping. He was more than happy to share his knowledge, right? And that's what I believe in. You know what I mean, I'm an advocate for sharing, you know. And so I spoke to him for, like I say, a good half an hour, and it was one of the most mentally and emotionally stimulating conversation I've had in a long time. In terms of, it was very refreshing to hear someone besides myself yap about fragrances. Got speaking, and then he just kept giving me suggestion after suggestion. What I'm trying to make is, like, he loved to share knowledge, and I love that. Like, I want to learn. I'm here firstly to add value back to the community, and secondly to spread my knowledge. Because otherwise, why am I here in the first place? That he's willing to share that story with me, his passion, his love for it, and his excitement. I think that's what really stood out to me. He's so excited to speak about fragrance as well. He was it was such an insightful and stimulating. That's the word I was looking for. Stimulating conversation, intellectual conversation. He introduced me to Penhaligons, but obviously I know about Penhaligons, but I was looking for it in Westfield and I found it. And then he's the reason I ended up going into the Penhaligons store. So when I went to Penhaligons store, the ones he recommended were quite good, I'm not gonna lie. Now I bumped another fragrance enthusiast. I asked her, what's your favorite scent? Whatever it was, got the, broke the ice. Now the problem I had with this lady was, like, she was very insightful as well. It's the opposite side. I mentioned gatekeeping earlier. She wanted to gatekeep. She didn't want to let everyone to know. She told me a sense, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't listening. Like, just because I can tell she wasn't, like, keen to share the knowledge, it's fine. It's not deep. But the point I'm trying to make is it here right now, yeah. She had great knowledge. Both of them. Both fragrance enthusiasts to a T. Unfortunately, one end of the spectrum is I want to share knowledge similar to me, which I love. I'm all for it. Let's share, spread the love, help each other out. Because end of the day, we all want to smell good, right? Even if it is at expensive price, we want to smell good, right? Or cheap price, or whatever you want to call it. But going back to the main point, she wanted to gatekeep, and I asked her why. I'm paraphrasing, but she said roughly along the lines of, I want to smell unique, but at the same time, I don't want everyone to smell like me. I don't want to smell everyone. But this is where I'm tripping. She said, I've never heard anyone in my life say this. She said, I sprayed Creed to the gym. Creed! You spent £300-400 and you put Creed on your skin. I'm not even judging here. That's the point I'm trying to make. She wants to smell unique. But if you're spraying unique, then why are you spraying Creed? I don't understand in your delivery of what you just said in that conversation. So I'm a bit confused and I was a bit tripping. I was like, Creed. I was like, fair enough. I'm not judging her. Just interesting to hear her perspective. But the point being I'm trying to make behind all of this is, why would you gatekeep? And I asked her and she said, I just don't want to share it to everyone. My list is unique to me. But this is what's interesting as well, to add to this. I said, where do you shop? She said, Harrods. I was like, Harrods? I was in Westfield, but simultaneously I was thinking to myself, I've missed the Penhaligons store in Harrods. That's how we got onto that, kind of topic at hand. And she said, oh, it's the back of Harrods. She was speaking about Harrods like it was the back of her head. I don't know Harrods that well. I've only been like probably 4 or 5 times my whole lifetime. I still don't know the store inside out. I'm lucky to even get a map of it, because it's gigantic. The fact that this woman shops at Harrods tells you everything you need to know. One-dimensional, very linear mentality. And the reason I mention this is because she said something that stood up to me. She said, I like the old school sense. Different generation. Just remember that. Different generation. I come from a generation where we're more in tune with the modern smells. There's no judgment. It's just a cross comparison. But she wants to gatekeep. Cool. But she only shops at one place. I mentioned Prune Perfumery to her, so I've never heard of it. How can someone who's like almost half your age, have more ball knowledge than you? Come on. Like, this is, come on. There's levels to this game. You got to step up. Do I believe in this gatekeeping? No. And I'll tell you why. If you truly, as a fragrance enthusiast, and if you want to be, I would say, influencer, you want to influence people, right? How are you supposed to influence people when you can't even spread knowledge? Oh, I don't want everyone to know. Then what is the point? Why you even spread knowledge in the first place? How dare you have the audacity? I'm commenting myself as well. I can't go up to someone else, one of our buddies, and say, oh, what's that scent? When I want to gatekeep in the first place. It works both ways, You've got to spread the knowledge and also, reciprocate, at least, But always doesn't always work like that again. But you know where I'm, my train of thought where I'm going with this trajectory. You have to spread some knowledge because at the end of the day, firstly, we're not getting older, and secondly, you want to make sure you help people out. This world is already full of cool people, guys. When it comes to like gatekeeping, I don't like it. I don't believe in gatekeeping. At the end of the day, this is the way I see it. People are going to find out regardless, and if we don't find out, I'm just going to research the notes. I'll research the notes and I'll eventually find out what you were wearing. I will. Matter of time. So, in summary, should you gatekeep? No, because you're not really helping anyone else out by gatekeeping. And at the end of the day, sorry, but you're not special. None of us are special enough to be gatekeeping stuff. I believe in spreading that knowledge because at the end of the day, I wish there was someone there like a mentor, whoever it is, to help me out to smell better. And that's why I'm coming in. To help you guys out on my channel, just giving as much as I can, honestly. And I always recommend to you guys something that I would also wear as well. If I'm not gonna wear it and it spells, £300, and if people say it's the next best thing, I'm not gonna recommend it to you guys. Simple as that. I'm very transparent and direct. So the moral of the story is don't gatekeep, please. Don't do it. There's no benefit. There's honestly no benefit. Because you have to remember as well, the lady said to me, oh, I want to smell unique. Okay. What does even unique even mean anymore? Because they smell pretty much 99% similar to each other. You've got so many dupes out there, I can't even tell apart which is which, But at the end of the day, it's all about spreading knowledge, because at the end of the day, if you educate yourself, make yourself smell better, you increase your confidence, and you can help each other out. You got to help others out, because you might have a friend out there who needs to, up his game. Just add that knowledge to him, Add some sprinkle of magic, dust. I will see you next one, guys, and thank you so much for watching.